frequently, there's a delay between knowing better and improving. Begin focusing on your emotional well-being rather than adjusting to toxic spaces. If you don't have the strength to enforce your own terms on life, then you must accept the terms it offers. The farther away you are, the more you can understand the situation completely. You have a broader view with less emotional confusion. The smartest course of action for society is to take care of yourself first. Regardless of whether you've been treated unfairly, don't become bitter or mistreat others. You can't make people love you as you love them. The regret of putting first those who don't put you first makes your life agonizing. When you emerge from the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. What's most important is to look forward. The past is your anchor. Life is a series of lessons that must be lived to be understood. Before you start a new chapter, the previous one must end. Let yourself know what has passed won't ever return. Nothing is indispensable. A habit isn't a necessity. Regardless of how many people are around you, you are always alone. It's up to you to get up and keep moving. When you pass through the darkness, you can see as far as the headlights shine, but you can't make the entire journey that way. In the end, all will be well. If it's not okay, it's not the end. But if it makes you anxious, you're doing it right. What a brilliant idea it is that probably the greatest days of our lives haven't yet occurred. There's only one thing more excruciating than gaining experience, and that is not gaining experience at all. Out of the blue, we have two choices: to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. One of the quickest ways to improve your life is simply to do what you said you planned to do. Your future self is watching you through your memories. You may not realize it when it happens, but a kick in the teeth might be the best thing in the world for you. The problem is that if you risk nothing, you risk more. Hope itself resembles a star. It shouldn't be visible in the daylight and is only found in the evening of difficulty. You can't travel back in time, but you can wrap it up again. One finds the limits by pushing them. Changing what's in store is still in your power. If you disdain starting again, stop quitting everything. The mind can achieve what you can imagine. If you want to achieve greatness, stop seeking permission. Not all storms come to disrupt your life, some come to clear your path. The limits of the possible must be defined by going beyond them into the impossible. If you want to increase your success rate, double your failure rate. Difficulty presents a person to themselves. If the path is beautiful, we should not ask where it leads. Everything we are is the result of what we have thought. The task ahead of you is never greater than the strength within you. The time you waste won't die without avenging itself. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. There are far better things ahead than any we leave behind. The future is always starting now. The best version of yourself has been waiting forever, don't make it wait any longer. The secret of progress in life is for a man to be prepared for his chance when it comes. There's a significance in every journey that is obscure to the traveler. Don't carry your mistakes with you. Instead, place them under your feet and use them as stepping stones to transcend them. When you realize you deserve a brilliant future, relinquishing your dark past is the best choice you'll make. People are usually as happy as they choose to be. Eventually, you must separate yourself from doing the things that others want from you. The way to success and the way to failure are the same. Wake up determined and go to bed satisfied. It's always too early to quit. Growing up means losing illusions to gain others. You're always one choice away from a completely different life. Try not to become a person of success, but rather a person of value. Of all sad expressions of tongue or pen, the saddest is, "It could have been." You can't find peace by avoiding life. Don't get caught up in what's happening to you, be guided by the dreams in your heart. Your life is your story, write it well and edit it frequently. Regardless of how much you regret, you can't change the past, and regardless of how much you worry, you can't change the future. In 20 years, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. The bad news is that time flies. The good news is that you're the pilot. Speak the truth or someone will tell it for you. Choosing uncertainty as a way of thinking about life is like choosing idleness as a mode of transportation. Life contracts or expands in relation to one's courage. Giving up means understanding that certain people are part of your story but not part of your destiny. Courage is like a muscle, we strengthen it by using it. If you give up on your dreams, what's left? If we all did the things we are capable of, we would literally astound ourselves. We aim above the mark to hit the mark. You can't live your life for others, you must make the wisest decision for yourself, even if it hurts some people you love. Sometimes things fall apart so that better things can fall together. The world is round, and the place that might seem like the end may also be the beginning. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Despite everything, you're still you. Change the world by being yourself. Your ability determines what you can do, your motivation determines how much you're willing to do, and your attitude determines how well you do it. You're always stronger and more resourceful than you give yourself credit for. Challenge and adversity are meant to help you know who you are. Struggles make your weaknesses evident but open your true strength. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Worrying doesn't empty tomorrow of its troubles, it empties today of its strength. With confidence, you have already won before you start. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. The only place where your dream becomes impossible is in your own thinking. Planning is bringing the future into the present so you can do something about it now. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all.
Today, we dive into the captivating universe of an apathetic way of thinking, an old way of thinking that has persevered during that time for its significant importance and its capacity to give direction during the most difficult snapshots of human life. In this video, we will investigate how these centuries-old examples might not just significantly impact our viewpoints on life at any point, yet in addition, prepare us with integral assets to confront ordinary difficulties with peacefulness. I welcome you to remain until the end, where you will track down significant statements to reinforce every one of your arrangements for any second in life. Now, assuming you are new here, kindly like the video and subscribe. Measurements show that only 15% of my crowd is subscribed to the feed, so assuming this content has assisted you in any capacity, I inquire you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, how about we start this extraordinary journey together? Are you prepared? Quit looking for bliss in the same place you lost it. People with the most obviously awful past can make the best future. On the off chance that you do not plan your own life plan, you will probably fall into another person's, and what they have anticipated you isn't much. Excusing people quietly and never addressing them again is a type of taking care of oneself. Don't stick to yesterday, it was wonderful, but it's gone. Quit being so available to people who are just with you when it suits them. There is only one thing more valuable than our time, and that is who we spend it on. One day, you'll laugh at how much you let this matter. Never harm others to mend yourself, nor hurt yourself to recover others. Don't just love yourself, have respect for yourself. If you don't, other people will have no issue stomping all over you. The best compensation for one's work isn't what one gets for it, but what one becomes by it. Clocks show the time, and time shows people. Healing doesn't mean the harm never existed, it means the harm no longer controls our lives. Perceiving that you are not where you need to be is a starting point to begin changing your life. Try to get what you love, otherwise, you will be compelled to love what you get. Your education is never complete. Strive to live completely and advance ceaselessly. You should let pain visit you, allow it to show you, but not let it stay. If you can find ways without obstacles, they may become dead-end obstructions. Obstacles are not blocks on the way, they are street signs. Picking solace over inconvenience doesn't lead to a comfortable life. It's your way and yours alone. Others might walk it with you, however, nobody can walk it for you. You are not entirely set in stone by somebody's incapacity to see your value. The costs you pay for progress, be patient and solid. Someday this pain will be helpful to you. If you don't go through your life, others will do it for you. Being honest with yourself and dependable will make you breathe. Face your hindrances and take care of business. You will find they don't have a portion of the strength you thought they had. No man is more miserable than he who never faces difficulty, for he isn't permitted to prove himself. Change the individual in the mirror, and your world will transform. You can waste your daily routine defining boundaries, or you can experience your life crossing them. Since you disdain this part doesn't mean you'll loathe the next. More significant than the ability to pick right is the strength to leave what's wrong. You can't be lonely if you like the individual you're alone with. Our suffering is caused by sticking to how things could have been. Your injury is not your shortcoming, rather, your healing is close. Some doors today are not for the sake of self-respect, inadequacy, or presumption, but just because they become dead ends. The things you consider yours have you more than you have them. Much pain and misery arise when you take each thought that strikes a chord as truth. We can't just sit and look at our injuries perpetually, we must stand up and move on to the next action. The journey to your success will always start with the little step of taking a risk. You'll ruin your life trying to please everyone. Easy street isn't safe from bitterness, however, in it, suffering contributes to our advancement. Sacrifice today to improve tomorrow. You're willing to make those payments with pain, since pain is only a message while you're fixing something deficient in your life. Following a path is simple, making a new one might be difficult but will lead you to new places. Remembering is wise that neither success nor failure is everlasting. It's possible you've been treated unfairly, but the depth of your pain indicates the level of your future. We feel regretful when we no longer need to connect with lifelong friends who haven't changed, but this is the cost and the marker of growth. The world will not become kinder to you just because you're a good person. Good people are the ones who are most played. The genuine man grins in adversity, builds strength from trouble, and grows bold by reflection. If somebody's words don't match their actions, leave them. Sometimes, the thought of someone leaving you is more difficult than the pain you feel when they actually do leave. In each instance of success, you will find somebody who has gone with a bold choice. Your life becomes so tranquil when your anger towards people who have harmed you transforms into compassion toward them. Those individuals are more self-centered than you naturally think. You need to walk and make the way by your walking. You'll find a way tailor-made. The best thing you can give yourself is the freedom from what others think you can't do. Fear discourages people. You need to live the life you want to live. You will encounter people with whom you just won't get along, regardless of how right you may be. You can say and do all the right things, but they will clash heads anyway. Change is alarming because known difficulties and pain are easier to accept than the unknown. Feel free to do things for yourself. Waiting for others will make you miss out on some great things in life. Disregard trying to change people, change yourself or your circumstances, or both. Never abandon what you truly want to do. The person with big dreams is more powerful than one with just facts. Sooner or later, you'll realize that no one else has anything to do with your life unless you allow it. Your life becomes significant in direct proportion to the depth of responsibility you're willing to take. Seek first to see, then to be seen. From sufferings have arisen the most grounded spirits. The most significant characters are born with scars. If you're not tough now, life will only get harder for you. Always place your change over your current self. Stick to no person, not even your most beloved. Every person is a prison and also a hideout. The first trick to making mistakes is not to hide them, especially not from yourself. Life gets better when health becomes your top priority. The more seriously you take yourself, the more despondent you'll be. The energy we spend complaining can be redirected into taking action for change. When we take responsibility, we move out of victim mode and push forward. Enjoy what is possible and overlook the rest. We should not waste energy battling against things that are outside our reach. Accept what the present moment contains as though you had chosen it. Always work with it, not against it. Make it your friend and partner, not your enemy. This will, inexplicably, change your life forever. Sometimes, relinquishing things is an act of much greater power than preserving or clinging to them. Sometimes, the place you're used to isn't where you should be. All obstacles seen with love can transform into the greatest life lessons. As you move along, you'll feel more disheartened by people around you. To avoid this, be tough on yourself, yet understanding with others. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what exists in us. Don't pause your breathing for people to do the right or moral thing. People make decisions based on personal circumstances, not what is right. Don't correct anything that prevents happiness, like the memory of joy.